Hey guys, how are you? Thanks for having me down here at Jayco. Who would not want to go away in one of these cross-track caravans? How cool. 53,000, we're giving this away. So, yeah. Listen, you might have someone coming with you and it'll be There'll be some boards on the roof of this, and we'll have some first aid kits with us. So, I'm an ambassador for Survival First Aid. I've been a lifeguard for 28 years down on Bondi Beach. You know, in that time, you're doing so many different types of first aids, resuscitations, everything from a minor cut through to a major laceration and wound. So having a first aid kit is vitally important. We pretty much all know that. You know, I don't have to educate the community about having a first aid kit, but I'm telling you to get one, because you normally think about a first aid kit when you actually need it, and it's too late. Okay, you've got a cut, your kid's been cut, you've been bitten by a snake, and with this weather, I mean, who wouldn't want to come out for a dance? And I know the snakes will, because they were all hibernating in the El Nino last year, so they'll be coming out. So having a snake kit and a first aid kit is vitally important, and knowing how to use those as well. There is so much education out there now about how to actually administer first aid. We have apps and everything when you're out on the open road, you know, and you're holidaying and camper vanning and caravanning, you know, there's so much you can actually do now. But having that kit is vitally important. I know we haven't got a big crowd here, but resuscitations. Lots of people have heart attacks out on the road too, you know, and it's generally that consensus of that males will have heart attacks because they don't really care about themselves too much, or the old kangaroo saying is, you'll be right, mate. But a very interesting fact is women have a lot of heart attacks, and they're generally obviously very good at everything. So they do everything, so they get on with the job. So they multitask and they do all the jobs that us blokes don't do, and they have silent heart attacks. So just recently I was treating a lady down at Bondi Beach. She actually fell in front of me. And she's one of the wealthiest ladies in the country. I was going to get a coffee and it was in the rain. She fell and hit my feet, and I went through signs and symptoms with this lady. She fainted about a week prior leading up to her fainting in front of me. And I asked her, you know, like, have you got angina? Do you take medication? She said no, and I said, take a deep breath. And she said, I feel really tight across my chest. She said, oh, I'll be right, I'll go home, which every person says, I'll go home, I'll be fine, I'll just lay down and rest it out. Her partner turned up, so I said, I've got to get you an ambulance. She said, I'm not going in an ambulance, I don't do ambulance. And I said, you've got to go in an ambulance. Her husband turned up at the same time, and he took her in the car, which went against my right of taking her in an ambulance. She contacted me, she dropped dead at the hospital door, literally dropped dead. So she had a heart attack down at the beach, and when she got to the hospital, she dropped dead. They resuscitated her, opened her up, put some new stems in her, put a pacemaker in her, and literally saved her life. Okay, so knowing the signs. What are the signs? Generally with guys, you know, does anyone know the signs? Does anyone know the sign of a heart attack? Okay, so you know, you've all probably heard that crushing feeling across the chest. You've probably heard down one arm, you'll get that feeling of pain down one arm. When this presents itself to you in the real world away from a book, okay, it's both arms, it's in the jaw, it's a tightness of the chest, it's hard for them to take a breath, pain in the back. So multiple things will display before someone actually has a heart attack. With women, they have silent heart attacks, so that there is signs that do display, but generally it's very hard to bring someone back to life if they've had a heart attack from a female, whereas guys, you know, we have a chance. Having a defibrillator is very important. Does anyone know where the defibrillator is here? Do we know? And this is where you've got to start thinking about your journey, where you're going. Have you got an A, B, and C plan? Okay, because if we don't know where the defibrillator is right now and someone goes down, I don't know. I've just raced in here, I've been in traffic out there. I want to know where the defibrillator is, all right? Because you get that defibrillator on someone that's had a heart attack and there's no vital signs of life, you get it on when that person within 1 minute, you've got a 90% success rate of bringing him back. 2 minutes, an 80% success rate. So if we had to play out an application right now and put this on someone right here, we're literally looking at being able to preserve human life and give them an 80% chance of getting that defib on them. Okay, so if you're going for those big trips, especially all the grey nomads, you really want to have a defibrillator, not just for yourself, for a loved one, or there's nothing worse, and I'm telling you, there is nothing worse than seeing someone that is lifeless and you can't do anything. And you can actually do a lot. Preserving human life is about jumping on someone's chest and resuscitating him, pumping their heart. Does everyone know how to do CPR? Yep. So what do we got? What do we... I can see a handsome prince over there too. Nothing like a prince bring you back to life, but anyway, we won't go there. We'll keep this. Okay, so get 30 compressions to 2 breaths. Now, lots of different things out there. In my game over 28 years, I've never actually breathed into someone's mouth, just due to hygiene reasons. And that's another reason to have a first aid kit, because you have got a face shield. But to resuscitate someone, doing effective CPR is a great chance to save someone's life, okay? And there's a lot you can do. Now, in a perfect world, when someone is lifeless and showing no signs of life, a lot of people will just stand around and go, oh no, what do we do? Oh, so call an ambulance. Well, to get a paramedic here, like right now, you know, we'll be looking at probably 10 minutes. With the traffic out there, 25 minutes. So having someone like myself in a place like this, you know, you become that paramedic, that you're replacing someone. And in that real world, away from a situation like this, at Bondi is seen as a regional area for an ambulance. So when you're doing a resuscitation, it might be good for Bondi Rescue because they're going to get great ratings from it. But we ain't got an ambulance there for, you know, at least 20 minutes. To work on someone for 20 minutes, you've got to be fit. It's physically really hard on the body. So as you look around, I can see a handsome big lad over here. I can see another big lad over here, Lockie. Right, I need the help of you guys, because after about 2 minutes, you start losing the effectiveness of your resuscitation, okay? A little tip, a little tool here. When you are doing resuscitation, you're placing your hand up on their chest like so. You want to actually let the heel of the hand just come off a little, like a little bit of a recoil, okay? That's called high performance CPR. Might be a little bit different to what you've been trained and taught out in the real world, but this is the latest tool and technique that the paramedics are using. We are trained by the paramedics, so we get to use these skills in my landscape, down on the beach and around the rock face. So it's important. It's not just about resus, but it's about cuts, lacerations. Having a first aid kit is so important. I mean, I cut my face the other day and I didn't have a kit. I mean, I wasn't going to, go 500 metres back up the beach to get the lifeguards to do it. That would have been, they would have filmed it. So I go home with blood on my face. But yeah, really, I should have had a kit in the back of my motorbike. You know, just the amount of times you need a kit, just a Band-Aid to get a thorn out, to get the sea urchin out. We're traveling a lot more. To go camping, to have something inside your caravan like this is just vitally important to save a life. Not only your life, your loved ones, okay? And knowing what to do, all right? Don't be scared. There's so much out there. Any questions? Anything you want to know? Sharks, yeah. Shark attacks. I have dealt with a shark attack. It was on Bondi Rescue. He brings his kids to the same school as me too. Okay, so yes, shark attacks, not that common down at Bondi, but yes, there was a guy that had been bitten by a shark and he lost his hand from a juvenile great white. Knowing how to control the bleeding is vitally important. You have about 6 litres of blood in your body, all right? Now, it's not just a shark attack. It could be riding the motorbike, it could be in a car crash. You have a large laceration and a lot of blood coming out. You've got to stop that blood, okay? So, having the bandages and controlling that blood is vitally important. With a shark attack, having such a big laceration, you want to try and get everything you possibly can on that wound, plus getting your knee right up into their groin. You get it right up into their groin, right up into their shoulder to stop the bleeding. Yeah, vitally important. To control that bleeding, so if it was a lower limb as well and they'd bitten your leg, you want to try and get the leg above the heart to slow that bleeding down as well. Really important, okay? And a tourniquet. So I'm bringing out my own first aid kits. So these kits are incredible. So I'm adding onto these first aid kits. So I'll have a tourniquet in the kits, not just for the beach or, you know, for jet ski or vessel, you know, hitting someone, more for the open road too. That tourniquet is vitally important in saving a life. So has anyone put a tourniquet on? You put one on? They're bloody hard to put on. All right, and when you wrench a tourniquet on, you're always going, how much should I actually tighten that thing? Well, I just did some training, putting a tourniquet on. So I've been putting tourniquets on for 20 years. Not for someone that's actually been bitten by a shark, but I've just been putting the tourniquet on thinking it was, you know, this is going to be strong enough. You've got to wrench that thing so bloody tight to stop and control the bleeding, okay? And in the meantime, you don't want to be just focusing on that tourniquet. You want to be looking at able-bodied people around you to get their knee right up into their hip here to stop that artery from just pumping out blood to save their life, okay? And obviously, obviously still ringing, get everyone on the phone, ring, bang, okay? Don't want to give you all the tricks away with paramedics, but the poor things, there's not enough of them, and if someone's dead, you get on that phone and get multiple people on that phone ringing 000 and saying, they're dead, they're not moving, they're in front of me. Because, you know, they've got a bloody hard job at the moment, there's not enough of them, but it's about prioritising things, and that just, you know, that really becomes a code red when someone's dead, okay, to get there. Sharks, yeah, we get sharks in Bondi, I think, but we get mermaids too. Listen, we get a lot of broken hearts in Bondi too, and it's always good to get out on the open road in a Jayco caravan. You know, very some handsome bachelors around, and
yeah, I'm handsome. You're
handsome too, I know it.
There's a what? She's all embarrassed now.
Oh, you can come over and say hello.
Really?
She's, hello, darling, don't be shy, come and say hello. So I've been back at the beach.
No, she's not coming.
She's not coming over, I can interview her.
Hello.
Hello, sweetheart. I've got...
Do you want a photo?
Do you like a man in uniform?
Of course. Who doesn't?
Oh my God, yeah, I'll leave it to, I'll let the boys take their shirts off now and walk that beach. It gets a bit harder as you get older, the gravitational force starts taking over. Well, thanks so much, everyone. We're over as well, we're over in the main marquee. If you want to come over and get yourself a kit, come over, say hello, I'm around. We're giving away this caravan, which is incredible, I can't believe it. We absolutely love Jayco. And anyone that wants to go on a little surf trip down the coast, I'm ready to go. Love ya.